All right, can you hear us, Sheila?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can, yes. Let's start. All right, the time is 7 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. Maybe have roll call, please.
Mayor Reichel?
Here?
Pro Tem Hanrahan?
Here.
Trustee Brittenell?
Here.
Trustee Klassen?
Here.
Trustee Engelhardt?
Here.
Trustee Poston? Trustee Seifert?
Here.
All right, can we rise for the moment of silence? The Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Yeah, read this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, be seated. Yep, if you want to bring it on up since you're there, thank you very much. All right, thank you. The first item on tonight's agenda is public comments. Persons desiring to make a public comment on items not on the agenda, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program. Or Sheila, any phone calls or emails in regards to non-agenda items?
No, I did not hear from anyone.
Okay. Do we have any raised hands?
Sorry, Mr. Bear, I forgot to unmute myself.
No
We do
worries.
not have any raised hands.
Okay, all right. In the chambers here with us, we have Mike Stykes, if you'd like to come up, state your name and address, and have your 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Stike. I live at Valley and Grand. So I got a few things to say. First off, I think we need to change the name of Grand Avenue. I got a couple of names on top of my mind. One, I think we can call it the Grand Raceway. Another one is Pothole Way. What do you think? Speeders, tailgaters, stop sign runners. It's horrible. I feel my life is at risk every time I get in my car around here. I refuse to go to Glenweird because I-70 is insane. It starts about 4 in the morning, coming down Grand Avenue, and it doesn't slow down till about 11, 12 o'clock at night. A guy went by today, if he wasn't doing 70, he was doing at least 80 past my house. Insane. Car went by the other day, hit one of the rocks from where they filled the potholes that they made. Rock came shooting out, hit my house. It's not good. We need to fix those potholes. It's bad enough when you have natural potholes, but when they make man-made potholes, that's bad. That is bad, bad, bad. So I know there's a meeting coming up about Grand Avenue. When they filled those potholes that they made, they paved 8th Street shortly after that. It would have taken maybe 2 or 3 wheelbarrow loads of asphalt, and they could have patched them pretty decent to make it through the winter, but they didn't. What they did, they filled them with road base, and they left humps. So now it's bad. I mean, it is bad, bad. Have anybody driven down Grand Avenue lately? It's horrible, horrible. I think the speeders, we need more police protection out here. I think they should be writing minimum 20 to 30 speeding tickets a day. You could do that on Grand Avenue. Every day you could write that many. Chief?
I'm listening.
Grand Avenue is one of the busiest streets in town. This week I seen 2 cops out there. That was today. They were both within a block of each other. That was about 4 o'clock. Yay! I'm so glad to see cops out there. I don't know if they're writing tickets or not. I think they need to be writing tickets. As a home rule town, I don't know if you can change the fines. I think we should get $100 for every mile an hour over the speed limit. I think you should get points. Every mile an hour over, get points. If you go 5 mile an hour, you get a $500 fine and 5 points. If you go 10 mile an hour over, $1,000 and 10 points. People will lose their licenses. Great. we get some bad drivers off the road, and they can support RAFTA. I think that's a win-win situation for the citizens of this town. Will that happen? Probably not. Let's see.
Yeah, just a little bit left.
Okay. Your officers, if they sat on Valley Drive, they could write tickets all day long. Like I said, this starts about 4:30 in the morning. One of my neighbors blows through that stop sign every morning about 6 o'clock. Check it out. Anyways, those electric bikes, oh my God, get them off the streets. There's a kid ripping through the park, comes out on the Grand Avenue. The other day he had a passenger, his head isn't this tall when he's on that little electric bike. And I bet that thing's doing 35 mile an hour down the street. He's gonna get killed. And when his parents scream, I'm gonna scream, because they're not stopping it. Can you write a kid a ticket for speeding? I would hope so.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Am I done?
Your 3 minutes, yes.
Yep.
Thank you for coming in, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'll see you next
We'll see you next
month.
week.
See you at next meeting.
2 weeks, yeah. December 8th. All right, we'll make it a date.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Anybody, nobody else signed in. Is anyone else here from the public here to speak on a non-agenda item? Okay. All right. Next up then is the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of the November 10th, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting. Any discussion, or would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All right.
Ken.
Motion by trustee Seifert to approve the consent agenda as presented, seconded by trustee Clausen. All is in favor?
Aye.
All is opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do any board members have any conflicts of interest with agenda items tonight?
No?
No, sir.
None for me. And do we have any agenda changes tonight?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We have a swearing in of a new, not a new officer, but a new sergeant.
Okay. We will go ahead and, here we are. All right.
Thank you, Lord, for giving us the opportunity to publicly recognize a tough assessment process. Took all day. Both candidates, all the assessors said both candidates are aptly qualified to be a sergeant. Officer Martin rose just slightly more than the other applicant. It was all day of people from the community, academia, businesses, and law enforcement from not around here. So, and very experienced 30-year officers from other jurisdictions that have been around, so they know what they're looking for. My interviews with both applicants went very well, and so tonight we are going to swear in and do the code of ethics for newly promoted Sergeant Martin. Sheila, you're up.
You have a place right in front of me. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Martin,
Do affirm that I will support
do affirm that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
the laws of the state of
the
Colorado,
laws of the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances of the town of Silt,
the charter and ordinances of the town of Silt,
and the Silt Police Department Code of Ethics,
and the Silt Police Department Code of Ethics,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of sergeant
of the office of sergeant,
upon which I'm about to enter
upon which I'm about to enter,
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh. All right. Cool. For those of us that are in law enforcement, if you in law enforcement, please stand up. These are the code of ethics that we swear to. Just confirm or deny. If you deny, you're probably looking for a new job. As a law enforcement officer, your fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all to liberty, equality, and justice. Do you affirm that you will uphold these duties?
I do.
You are expected to keep your private life unsullied as an example to all, and to maintain behavior that brings no discredit to you or this agency. You must remain calm and courageous in the face of danger, develop self-restraint, and remain constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Do you affirm that you will maintain this conduct?
I do.
You must be honest in thought and deed in both your personal and official life. You are required to obey the law and the regulations of this department and to keep confidential all information obtained in your official capacity unless revelation is necessary in the performance of your duty. Do you affirm your commitment to these standards?
I do.
You must never act officiously nor allow personal feelings, prejudices, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, or friendships to influence your decisions. You must enforce the law without fear or favor, malice or ill will, and never employ unnecessary force or violence, nor accept gratuities. Do you affirm this, that you will enforce the law impartially and ethically?
I do.
The badge of your office is a symbol of public faith. You accept it as public trust to be honored so long as you remain true to the ethics of the police service. Do you affirm your dedication to these ideals and to the profession of law enforcement?
I do.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
We're gonna do a quick picture with you and the
No.
trustees.
I can come up there.
Come on around. All right.
That'll work.
Hey.
You want to go over there maybe real quick? Would it be easier?
Yes, we can get a little.
Oh,
We
for
can,
sure.
let's come over that way a little bit, just 'cause it might be easier to take the picture that way, or do you want to get the flag in there?
Probably with the flags in the back.
Okay.
Okay. Then let's- All right.
When the music stops, we all sit down.
We all sit. Do we have room to slide that out of the way?
Even though it's not signed.
You didn't sign it, or, yeah.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's still legit.
It's still legit.
Got it, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sorry, sir.
That's okay. We'll get it.
That's okay. Make it go quick.
That'll make it go quick, right?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right. Do we have any other agenda changes by the staff or by the board?
Down here.
None? Okay. All right, moving right along then. 2025 Heyday update with Peggy Swank.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Peggy Swank. I live at 20 Lone Pinion up on Silt Mesa. I'm really not a resident of town, but I've been active on the Heyday Committee for 32 years now, and I enjoy it every year. I got to take my glasses off so I can read this text for you. We want to thank all of you for your support this year for Heyday. It was our 55th annual Heyday. It's been the most successful Heyday we've had since we moved back to Veterans Park. Donations have been up. Our parade entries were down a little this year. We had to allocate extra spaces in the park in order to get all the vendors in. Our webpage, www.siltheyday.com, this is the second year that we've had it, and it's been a success, as well as the Facebook page that we've got called Silt Heyday. We've got 2 of our members that manage those accounts. We had 43 booth spaces allocated this year, as well as 20-plus parade entries. This year in March, we had to reschedule again because of the fact that the Garfield County Fair ended up landing on the date that we had chosen. And when we changed our date, needless to say, we landed on DeBeck Wild Horse Days, but we notified DeBeck and let them know that we would be having a one-day event here in our park during their event. Having the support of your staff in receiving and processing our mail, helping with signage, cleaning up the park areas that we use, setting up our tent, and helping the stage setup is significant, and it is every year, and we really do appreciate that support. Having many of the tasks completed on Thursday gave us additional time for us to hang banners and mark the park for the booths. The use of the gazebo for storing things both before and after Hay Day really comes in handy for us at this time. Our flag raising in the park is a very important part of us, and our police chief has just left, but I want him to know how important we feel that the flag raising is in going forward. We appreciate the support of the police in the park during that day, too. The town also provides us with insurance, security, beer booth license, and servers. All of that is really appreciated, too. The loan of the band shell from the Garfield County and the Garfield County Honor Guard to lead our parade. I can't say enough about having somebody there doing it every year. The Villarreal family came through this year. Ethan sang our national anthem, and he and his family did a swing dance demo at the park. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that, but they were out there swing dancing, and they tried to get people to participate, but weren't very successful in doing that. Rifle Recreation came on board to run our cornhole tournament again, allowing us to spend more time on making sure that other things ran smoothly. The local Cowboy Church helped with the kids' games again, and that's really appreciated because typically we've got one person responsible for something, and we always need extra support during Hay Day. Historical Park did a great job for the breakfast. I don't know if you had the support or you had as many people participate as in previous years or not.
It was slightly down, but
Slightly down, okay.
not bad.
Okay, they've been doing this since before I started working on Hay Day, and as I said, that's 32 years ago. This year, they also took over the silent auction, which Sheila had been running for us, but the funds from that goes to the historical park. So it sounds like they're willing to take that over again next year, so it's one more thing. Cactus Valley Elementary School and the Cowboy Church provided parking for our staging for the parade in the morning, so that really comes in handy too. We appreciate the bands. We had the Colorado Curries, Tyler Rusk, and the Queen Bees, and then Precision Decibel provided us with our sound and lighting in the park for the evening. The fact that we have associated events happening at various different locations in town helps with the feel that it truly is a community event. We plan the baseball, and that's vintage baseball, and horseshoes near the pavilion. The local Quilt Guild plans their show at the Silt Historical Park, and that quilt show is their big fundraiser every year. And the Colorado River Fire District, if they're available, and they were this year, plans their open house and does a touch a truck in the park so that we have that as part of the things for people to do. Our donations have been up since we moved back to Veterans Park. We sincerely thank all of our sponsors. Due to the fact that donations were up, we were able to extend the face painting time for the kids. We had a lady there that had a booth that did face painting, but during 4 hours during the day, we provided the kids with painted faces if they wanted to have them. This year, we again had a photo booth later in the day, and I'm not sure how many people realize it's there and come and check it out, but they were there to take free pictures of anybody that wanted to have their pictures taken. For the first time this year, Alpine Waste and Recycling provided our porta potties and hand washing stations, and we asked them to provide them in 3 or 4 different areas in town so that we had porta potties and hand washing stations where we needed them. The in-kind donations that we got from our sponsors are used as prizes for both events, and any of the extras go into the silent auction. And the proceeds, as I said, go to the Silt Historical Park. One of our biggest concerns in previous years had been getting food concessions that were willing to set up and run for a one-day event. This year, with the addition of power, we had more food trucks, and they seemed to be happy to attend our event. Next year, we need to figure out how to connect some of them to the 30 amp circuits. I understand it's a different plug, so that the spider boxes, everybody was hooked to 20 amp circuits, and a few of them needed more amperage than we were able to provide on the 20 amps. But the spider boxes have sufficient power, and we appreciate the fact that we had the power, but we just need to make sure that our vendors can attach to the 30 amp circuits. The deep fryers seem to be our culprits, and I know Culver's had to shut down their deep fryer. Okay. Our other big concern had been Wi-Fi in the park. It seemed to be working fine until about a week before Heyday, and the fact that you guys got Micro Solution out there and they spent a day setting up some local connection from the gazebo in the park really helped out. We shared the vendor link with all the vendors, and when that link got busy, we let them use the guest links so that they never really truly lost service. They ran a little slower than they might have liked to, but they never truly lost service. This year we couldn't have asked for a nicer day for the event. Storms held off until after we got the park cleaned up on Sunday. At our end-of-year meeting a few weeks ago, we talked about surveys that were sent to the vendors and were available on our website for the participants, and tried to list things that might make Silt Heyday an even better event. It was suggested that we need to make the online payments and donations easier. One of the other things was the Silt Town license. We spent right up until Silt Heyday struggling with that, but that's now been fixed, I understand. So that should be a little easier this year. And then we had some comments that we needed to have additional things to keep people busy in the park. And yet, we had other comments that said there were plenty of things to keep people busy in the park. Between cornhole, the silent auction, horseshoes, breakfast tickets we provide to the crew and helpers, and the beer booth, we managed to funnel over $3,600 to the Silt Historical Society, and that's above and beyond what they make on their breakfast. This is just the events that we've got and how much that we're funneling onto them. So hopefully it'll help with their fundraising over the next year. A couple of times during the day we were asked what could be done to support us better. We discussed it at our meeting, and our main concern at this point is just having some potable water maybe in the park and a more consistent Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi was good this year, but just more consistent Wi-Fi, because we'd been using Wi-Fi in the park right up until, what was it, about a week before the Heyday? And it was good, and then all of a sudden we just had problems with it.
Can I just say one thing
Yeah.
about the water? Really popular now are these like fill your own water bottle station. Everybody now has their own water bottle, right? And so it's just a little station like that, maybe something with our event. You know?
Okay, well, typically water, Pepsi-Cola is one of our sponsors.
Okay.
And it usually provides us with about 10 cases of water in the park. So we have water available if people really need to have water. But there's a few things for like cleanup or something like that where potable water would be handy to have in the park.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. I'm here to answer questions. We understand that the replacement of the gazebo might be planned for some future date. Don't know exactly when. We are really looking forward to that. Okay. We have planned Heyday for August next year, but we're awaiting information from Grand Valley Days to find out when they're scheduled. We know when the Garfield County Fair is, and they've tied up 2 Saturdays for that. And so we're waiting to find out when Grand Valley Days, because they're a 3-day event. So we're anticipating we're either going to be the 15th or the 22nd, and it will be our 56th annual Heyday. Okay. Our committee is completely volunteer, and they commit a lot of time in order to prepare and get things ready. We have a lot of people who come at the last minute, and we know that they're going to be there every year, and they really help us too. We've been really, really lucky to have your clerk and a couple of the trustees join us in our efforts, because that makes our communication with your organization that much stronger. Okay, and I mentioned already the police and how much we appreciate the support and the flag raising and the things like that too. Okay?
Do what we can.
Okay. Any questions? I have with me a copy of our finances if you would like to see them. I also have a copy of our, and I think it's about 6 pages, our end of heyday review and what we talked about and the things like that. Sheila's got a copy of them because she's part of the committee. Chris has got a copy and Justin's got a copy. If you want to see any of that information, I brought it with me too. Most of the people were really happy. We had people either very satisfied or satisfied. No negative responses for participation from the vendors. Foot traffic, they considered it 70% average and about 10% above average, with it quiet after 2 was one of the comments. The application process had a couple of bumps, and we're still learning on that. This is the first year that we've really tried to do the applications fully online with our Heyday site. And it looks like we need to continue to work on communications before, after, and during the event, and that's our responsibility to vendors, okay? One of the things that they like most, and this is the vendors, how welcoming the staff was in the location of the event. It's fun to bring up incoming trends to small town vibe. People are excited. Seeing the kids enjoying the games and having fun. The flexibility that we were able to give them, having shade and music. The more vendors brought more people. Being part of a community tradition. And this person appreciated being checked under throughout the day and getting to know our community. So, you know, it's all good feedback that we got. There were a few negative comments, but there's typically always going to be 1 or 2 negative comments. But we spent a lot of time going over them. We spent a couple hours going over all the comments that were given to us. Any questions? We're
It was a
looking.
good one. I was
Great
there. It
event.
was,
Pardon?
it was a good one. It was a good crowd.
I thought it was a good crowd most of the day. It's a better crowd than we've had the last few years.
Yeah, Orange said they gave away over 10 cases of water, fire department.
Wow. Okay.
That's a lot of people, you know, wandering
Yep.
through, so, besides what you gave away, so.
Yep, we made water available, you know, and we missed Sheila this year. She was out of town, but we made it all work, and we're looking forward to working with her again next year, hopefully. And we do appreciate all the support that you guys give us.
I was really excited to see all the vendors and that they were able to use their machines and everything on our wireless, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, and there was one vendor that had some problems, but she rebooted her phone and it worked better after that. So I think it was her problem, but I wouldn't guarantee that. You know, we know that once we got them on the public public shared one, it was running a little bit slower.
Right.
Okay, but we got them all taken care of. Everybody seemed to be happy with what we had. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you, Peggy. And thank you for your 32 years of doing it.
Doing it, yeah.
Not so sure Heydays would exist if you weren't.
It would.
Yeah.
It would exist in some shape or form. It's been going on too many years at this point. You know, and I'm hoping to be still involved next year, so we'll wait and see how everything works out.
Well, and for somebody to take hours to go over the input, you know, and the feedback and to take it, listen to it the way you do, I think that's really great.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate everything that this community does in order to make Heyday successful.
Yeah.
You know, and the locals and things like that. With the pancake breakfast, I think what I saw was a lot of the older people that had always come for the pancake breakfast are no longer able to get out and about as well anymore. And maybe that's why it's down a little. Maybe we need to promote that a little better. Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peggy.
Thank you, Peggy.
Okay, before we jump to the next thing, I gotta see what's going on with my electrical outlet, 'cause my computer's about ready to die. There we go, we're back. Okay, all right. Next item on the agenda is the interview for the Planning Commission vacancy, and Todd Tibbetts was our application. Like to come on up to the table? you just want to give us a little bit about yourself.
Todd Tibbetts. I live at 439 Orchard Avenue in Silt. I'm semi-retired, and I have time on my hands and an interest in planning and zoning, and so I applied for the position.
Okay. All right. Do we have any questions for Mr. Tibbetts?
I have a couple, but I'm happy to wait.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I noticed on your application that you've served previously on planning and zoning as well as a town trustee.
Right.
Can you share with us how you feel those prior roles within the town will help you as a potential new commissioner for planning and zoning now? Like what experiences did you have then that you feel will be a positive reflection for planning and zoning now?
Well, the time period that I served was late 90s, early 2000s. And during the early 2000s, a lot of the subdivisions that are now being built out were approved. Iron Horse Mesa, Camarillo, Painted Pastures, Flying Eagle. We also worked on the Stillwater application, which was a huge development. Spent about 2 years working on that. So that experience, I think, really prepares me to just jump right into planning and zoning. We also worked on the master plan, I think of the 2006 master plan. Plus a lot of the current building ordinances were passed during that time period, just simply because of the tremendous amount of growth that Silt was facing during that time period. So a lot of experience from both in planning and zoning, and then also in just general town operations.
My other question is, in your answer to question number 7 on the application, what do you believe could be a concern or issue facing this commissioner board? And you referenced affordable housing. You said specifically, and I'm quoting, "These new developments need to fit the community." Can you expand on that? I know affordable housing is a big concern community-wide. What's your sort of vision of that?
Well, again, I look at the development down by the KOA campground, and then the recent apartment buildings that went up east of town. Again, it's a situation where I think some of the issues, as an example, the tiny home development down there, original concept on that was to be affordable, but the economic realities are that it's become less affordable than I think a lot of people anticipated. And a lot of that has to do with the financial structure of the lot lease element of that. I think that planning and zoning plays a role in kind of setting those standards for those types of developments when they come in. We've got a lot of additional housing units that have been added, which adds additional traffic to the community. Again, development down by the KOA, you've got 90 plus units there, and there's only one access point, and that's through the gas station parking lot. So I think there's some deficiencies there in that, if a development like that comes up again, I think that those types of things need to be looked at seriously before they get approved and forwarded.
Thank you. Those were my only questions.
Questions? Okay.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
I've got one, and you can elaborate on it if you want to, or you can just a yes or no. Is there anything that you did while you were on P&Z or the Board of Trustees that you look back now and think, oh, I wish I would have done something different in that particular situation?
It's been a number of years since I was on, so it's kind of hard to reflect. One of the things that we worked on hard there was trying to put together a grocery store down in the Lions subdivision, and we weren't successful in being able to do that. You know, I've always felt that it would be nice if Silt had, you know, at least a small grocery store, but you know, the problem that we ended up with is we were vying for a spot, and they ended up choosing Rifle. But then that grocery store didn't make it either. So, other than that, you know, with all of the work that we did on Stillwater, it was disappointing that that development never came to fruition. But it really, if it had, there would have been a tremendous change to the community with basically doubling the size with the size of that development. So to me, it's kind of good news, bad news.
Right. Okay. All right. I have no further questions.
I guess, yeah, the only question I have, how do you feel about the town's code? Does it need a lot of work? Does it not need a lot of work? Is it just right?
Well, I'll be frank, I haven't really spent a huge amount of time going through it with a critical eye. You know, with any document of that nature, and again, a lot of that was formulated back in the early 2000s, and you know, things have changed, and so any document of that nature, you know, to me, it's always appropriate to revisit and refresh as necessary.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. Where do you see Silt in 5 years? What is your vision? What are you thinking we should be in 5 years? I'm just picking 5 years, but I mean, just a number down the road.
Well, I think that the amount of growth that has happened over the last 5 to 8 years is the volume that a town of our size can handle. And so I would hope that we continue to add housing units and also strengthen our commercial base.
Do you see more commercial or residential in your vision?
Well, as much as we'd like more commercial, I think the reality is that residential tends to be the dominant act, because again, commercial is challenging with you know, the likes of with Rifles and commercial park there, and so it becomes challenging to get commercial located here in Silt.
Don't like it.
Okay.
Why did you leave the board? Or why did you leave P&D before?
Well, I've been on for 2 terms, and
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
and I at that time, the occupation that I had, I did a lot of traveling, and it was getting challenging to maintain the amount of work that I did, as well as attend the board. And then I also became more active with West Elk Trails, so I just didn't feel I could commit the amount of time that was appropriate to the board at that point.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't have any other questions to ask, so I thought I would ask you that. I think it's actually really good that you have served and then you stepped away and maybe see from a distance how that affected things and then come back to it. I mean, do you feel like the conceptual plan that you helped create then is still a good plan?
Well, again, I think that it has served Silt well to this point, but you know, again, all of that stuff was put together over 20 years ago.
It's with the crystal ball.
Yeah, and so, you know, anything like that really does need to be revisited as time allows and updated as appropriate.
Okay.
I don't have a question. I just thank you for putting your hat in the ring here, because
Yeah.
I think the experience that you've had and the amount that you've given to the community with the West Elk Trails and some of the other things that you do will be valuable for the position.
All right. With that, would someone like to make a motion?
What's the,
It's the
Looks like
verbiage.
Kim's getting ready.
am I doing it or are you doing it?
I can do it. Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve Todd Tibbetts as the new, to fulfill the vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Commissioner.
I'll second.
All right. Motion by trustee Britnall to appoint Todd Tibbetts to the Planning and Zoning Commissioner vacancy, seconded by trustee Clausen. All's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Welcome back.
When is the next meeting?
December 9th.
Okay.
I will email you tomorrow, Todd, with the particulars on getting paperwork filled out and
Good.
getting you sworn in.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Next up is the Middle Colorado Watershed Council presentation with Kate Collins, or Katie Collins?
Hi, Kate.
Kate, okay.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees. When I spoke with Sheila, oh, she's got it up. She said that she had me covered with this presentation, so we'll just scoot through this together. Thank you for having me. I know your agenda's full, so we'll just move right through it. The mission of our 501c3 nonprofit organization is to enhance, protect, and evaluate the health of the Middle Colorado River, which is defined as going from the east end of Glenwood Canyon to DeBeck. It's about 75 river miles and about 2,200 square miles. It includes the tributaries and the riparian areas as well. We have 2 staff, and we worked with partners for a more resilient watershed. So as a nonprofit organization, we're kind of that third leg in the three-legged stool where we can bring together public interests and private interests and get more done with all of these different types of partners of governments and landowners and agencies like BLM and the Forest Service and CPW and so forth. And the reason why it matters, our reason for being, is that our watershed supports drinking water and municipal use. That's particularly relevant for the town of Silt. And in our part of the watershed, too, we have such disparate interests. Recreation's a part of it, but we also have industry, so economic vitality with our extraction partners, agriculture, and quite a bit of it. Habitat for all kinds of plants and animals that live in the riparian areas that are vanishing pretty quickly in Garfield County and in Mesa County. And so we work to bring together partners in all of these categories and to improve the health and viability of the watershed. So our current threats to the watershed right now, and I don't have to tell you, are wildfire and drought and aridity. We had one of the driest years on record in 2025. The aridity is just how dry the ground becomes when we have prolonged drought. So it used to be 12 inches or 18 inches. You know, now they're talking about a meter in some places. And so even when we do get moisture, that ground needs to be re-wetted essentially. So we're facing that. We have erosion. So many streams and creeks and waterways in the west are eroded from sediment and they get incised, meaning that the banks get real steep and the waterways are deep and the water just kind of shoots through there like a bowling ball down an alley. And we have a lot of habitat loss, as I mentioned previously. For riparian areas in Mesa County over the last century, they've lost 50% of their riparian habitat. And it's important because 90% of life interacts with the riparian area. That's where the water meets the land. And only 2% of riparian area is existing in the nation. So about 50% of the riparian area over a century in Mesa County is gone now. And we estimate that it's about that for Garfield County. So with those threats and pressures on the watershed, one of the biggest projects that we undertake is the Colorado River Wildfire Collaborative. And that has been, we've been so very grateful to Jim Mann, who has participated really since the start and who continues to participate regularly in that. My predecessor, Paula Stepp, pulled this group together. 40 partners, including every fire district, every fire department, all the municipalities, plus Garfield County, and then all of our agencies too. And our goals with the Wildfire Collaborative are to reduce risk, protect infrastructure, and then prepare for post-fire recovery. So you're hearing a lot more about post-fire hazards being every bit as urgent as the pre-wildfire fuels mitigation, in protecting our values at risk that are vulnerable to post-fire floods and sediment and debris. So some of the work that the Wildfire Collaborative, which as yet is unfunded, we stood it up and we continue to host monthly meetings and have a projects committee to identify the work that we want to get underway. And we've done that really without any substantive funding, but that's all about to change. But we've identified these areas as important to work on next that are near to your community. And we also, the water quality that's upstream of silt that can be impacted by wildfire and runoff is another area of focus and concern for us. Have you all heard about the Wildfire Ready Action Plan? We were the first in the whole state to create one of these. It was funded by the Colorado Water Conservation Board primarily. And the two priorities for the CWCB now are wildfire ready watersheds and Colorado FHZ, so coloradofhz.com, so fluvial hazards. And we were able to do a deep dive, have this document that's 366 pages, but it's very, very comprehensive in terms of mapping the values at risk, and they can be things like irrigation ditches and culverts and bridges, schools and other institutional buildings. But I invite you to have a look at that when time permits. You can access it through that link there on the wrap. And I should tell you that we have submitted a grant to Colorado State Forest Service that has 10 match partners, of which Silt was one. And when we get that grant, I like to say when, not if, in the spring, that will give us the ability to hire a Colorado River Wildfire Collaborative Program Manager for a period of 3 years. So a lot of these fuels mitigation projects will be able to move forward. Just more outreach and education, neighborhood engagement of chipping programs, and just education in terms of defensible space and how to protect in the event of wildfire. So that is all coming online. We're really excited about it. And then just a couple of the projects that are representative of the kind of work we do. This summer, we toured with the Forest Service and National Forest Foundation up in Divide Creek drainages. And we wanted to look at opportunities for low-tech process-based restoration, or LTPBR. That kind of restoration helps creeks meander and get back to optimal health, which in turn helps the habitat and just the re-wetting that landscape. It's important with climate resilience, and we plan to get back up there and have another look and see what might be feasible in terms of doing some of this work moving forward. These things don't happen quickly, but this is a project that was brought to us by the Forest Service that they see as a great opportunity for some habitat restoration. And you may have heard about the Roan Creek Fish Barrier Project as well. It's been many, many years in the making, and I'm really proud to say that this $1 million project will be wrapping up in December 2025. So that protects native fish populations above it, keeps the rainbow and brown trout out of the sensitive habitat for the other fish. And we had 6 partners who helped bring that together. So again, there's a link there, and you can have a look at that when time permits. And another area of focus right now, too, is a Rifle Creek Restoration Implementation Plan that includes both agricultural water delivery improvements and also habitat improvements. We run a river stop, which is at Lions Pond in Rifle. Has anybody been there?
I've been to the pond, but not the river.
Yeah.
There, but it was a long time ago.
It's time to come back. We have, we're activating that space. We had 828 visitors there this summer on the 3 days that we were open. We had grant funding from Office of Economic Development, International Trade through State of Colorado. We have a stream table there for kids and some interactive displays that teach about the river. And plus, Lions Pond has so much biodiversity. There's western painted turtles in there, and leopard frogs, and all kinds of bald eagles and osprey. We continue to bring the Fire and Water Speaker Series and the Wild and Scenic Film Fest for engagement with the community and education about water in the river. And our past silt projects, which Paula worked on primarily, but I got to kind of catch the tail end of those for your Silt Preserve project. So exciting to see all the good that does for this community. And the Silt boat ramp, which I've been getting on and off the river more from this summer. Adorable little leopard frogs that live there. They're abundant, and they are sensitive species, so it's fun to see them out there. And then the Pump Canal sediment migration was another project that we worked closely with Silt on. Getting silt and algae out of there. So I've just come to say hi, introduce myself to those of you who I don't know, and thank you for your past support, your current support, your future support. We're grateful for the partnership.
We are too.
Oh, thanks.
It's been-
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
It's a lot of really cool stuff. I would like to explore it, like you said, when I have more time.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to get with you too. So my phone number and my email are here. Just shoot me a note and we can get together.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, when you lose 50% of something and you're not going to get it back, you know, it's like horrifying, you know, to think about, honestly. I don't know. I think it's great that people are doing something about it, and I'm glad that we are contributing to a certain extent. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you. It's a shifting baseline that happens when you lose 50% because nobody can remember what it was like.
Right. We
And
don't
so
even
then
realize.
it becomes the new normal, but that shifting baseline is a concern to scientists.
I have a budget question in terms of your annual budget, what percentage is administrative costs versus programming use?
Yeah. Our entire organizational budget for this year was $1.3 million, which sounds so great. And our operating budget was $158,500 or something. So we operate pretty lean and mean, and we're so grants heavy that we usually support our staff and overhead with indirect costs from grants, which is generally between 10 and 15%. It's with the federal and state grants.
Okay. What is the main project you're looking for 25 or for 26, I guess?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we need to we've got a little traction with Rifle Creek restoration. Then the Colorado River Wildfire Collaborative is just absolutely urgent. And I'd love to ask you if you all feel that wildfire mitigation might be something that would be justified for a publicly funded mechanism for raising enough money to get the work done.
As opposed to what other mechanisms?
Well, we're coming up short. I mean, I think we've relied on grants, and that's changed so much federally and even in the state. And then clearly, municipalities like yours are having to make tough decisions. And so just looking at how we can get the work done moving forward. And I just wonder how that might sit. I don't know if it would be a property tax or a sales tax or what it would look like, but I've been feeling like a year into this role now that the question needs to be asked.
I guess what part do you, because I know the fire department does a lot of mitigation along the river, and so does the BLM. My grandson works, in Grand Junction. They go up and down the river and do a bunch, and I'm retired from the rifle fire for 25 years, and I know they have a crew that does a lot of mitigation, so I guess I'm not sure which part you're talking about.
Well, and Colorado River Fire Protection District is a very active part of our wildfire collaborative, and I would say, they're some of the only ones who have the bandwidth to do the restoration. So you're absolutely right with that. We just wonder if it's enough.
Are you wondering, like, fundraising ideas? Is that, so I was just at a rather dismal budget discussion where someone was having to, cut things too. And we just went to this thing called Laugh Your Tail Off, and I felt like they did a really good job raising a lot of money for that animal. People were spending like thousands of dollars on a pan of fudge. And they figured out the secret sauce to raise the money, and so that was one idea that I thought, maybe some kind of fundraiser like that. But I don't know. That's really not my realm. I just thought it was really impressive that they were able to get so many people, so much enthusiasm.
Well, and not only does it raise money, but it also is raising friends and supporters for the animal shelter. So that's really the value of events.
Such good PR, and everyone was so just having a good time, and enthusiastic about it. So when it's in that kind of a context, it's like people are just giving money away.
Yeah.
I don't know, just an idea.
Do any of the other fire departments offer mitigation like Colorado River does, or like Glenwood, or?
Glenwood might do a little.
Beck, or?
Yeah, the other ones, if they do it, I don't know about it.
Okay.
I think it's more, the big thing is going to be getting people to know. Like, I was born and raised in Glenwood, and so 40 years ago, you didn't even worry about wildfire. It wasn't even a concern. And now it is becoming more of a concern. So I think it's educating the people from 40 down to 20 about the risks of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll be able to do more of that with more staff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all about education.
Anything else?
All I have.
I don't have anything.
Anything else? Yeah.
I really appreciate your time and attention.
Yes, thank you for coming here
Yes.
tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Okay. Next up is going to be Resolution 48 Series 2025, a resolution of the Town of Silt, Colorado approving a major subdivision sketch plan for property known as Parcel A of the second amended Keithley subdivision, referred to as Riverview within the Town of Silt, Garfield County, State of Colorado. This is a public hearing, but for now I will turn it over to Director Centeno.
Thank you. Sheila, as I'm giving my presentation, can you make John a co-host because he will need to share his screen, please? Alrighty, Riverview sketch plan application includes the creation of 5 buildable lots, 2 open space lots, one of which is a river lot. And it'll have 4.09 acres of commercial use, 6.09 acres of multifamily use, and then 4.5 acres of parkland dedication. I did want to point out a conversation that we had at the Planning Commission meeting about the acreage not adding up. The property is currently recorded at 15.215 acres. However, if you add up the acres that I just listed off, it equates to 14.68. As the applicant was surveying the property, it was discovered that 3 of the property pins were off. One of them was off by 4 feet, one of them was off by 6 feet, and the last one was off by 21 feet. So as part of the application, the discrepancy of acreage is going to be revised and an accurate plat would be recorded. So that is the difference of the acreage within the staff report and what's actually recorded. One item that staff would like to point out is that there's an attached proposed PUD with the application. And all of the application, including the PUD, is included in the packet, even though it's not required at sketch plan. So it's there for additional information, but it has not been reviewed by town staff or our attorneys. We haven't done a deep dive into the agreements. And within the PUD, it has since been clarified that there was a section that said the island was going to be private, and to the best of the ability of the applicant's knowledge of what that meaning was supposed to be is that it would be privately maintained. After further discussion with the applicant, so the town staff and the applicant were all on the same page, the island will be part of their parkland dedication as well as the trail. And so those kind of amendments will take place within the PUD once we actually get through sketch plan and we're actively working within the agreements. So again, they're attached because it was part of the application, but they have not been reviewed by town staff. And all of the parkland dedication will be open to the public. And the applicant would also, is also proposing to install a bridge to the island for access. That would be part of their parkland dedication. Overall, the sketch plan presentation is more of an opportunity for the applicant to present their concept plan. So town staff does not have an extremely detailed staff report, although I felt it beneficial to go on ahead and outline some basic information. So I'll do a quick run through of the staff report. I did add the location and the legal description. I did put code sections of what the major subdivision entails from sketch plan to preliminary plan to final plat. And the comprehensive plan designates this parcel as service and commercial based. Even though they're proposing residential adjacent to the river. Town staff feels that as we continue to go through their PUD and move forward with agreements and what that looks like, and we look forward in revising our comp plan based off of the feedback that we got from our housing needs assessment and what's needed where. I foresee that the comp plan is going to allow the designation of residential within several of the currently zoned within the comp plan service and commercial support designations. So town staff is in support of the mixed use of commercial and residential, even though the current comp plan does not recognize the housing needs that we have of today. That information is in there. And then another clarification that I was able to clean up after the planning and zoning meeting is that our current zoning map has this property listed as a B2 zone district. After Mr. Kirsten and myself did some digging and Clerk McIntyre, we kind of honed in and found where it was designated as a planned unit development before it was subdivided off from the Camp Colorado parcel. And the Camp Colorado parcel PUD changed. They amended that to better fit what they needed to do, but there was never an amendment to the zoning for this parcel. So this parcel is still currently zoned under the existing PUD, which will change and amend with what's going to best fit with the current proposal and PUD. So it is not a B2 zone district, even though our zoning map states that it is. Overall, staff finds that the sketch plan is a viable start to the process, and we look forward to continuing to work with the applicants. I did put a recommendation of approval within the staff report. There are 4 very basic conditions of approval, since this is just sketch, and it's that all representations made are going to be reflected in the meeting minutes and considered part of the application, that the applicant provides additional documents and pays related fees, that the referral agency comments are addressed, and that this approval is not for construction. I did want to highlight that Mr. Kirsten and Mr. Cunningham have been very appreciated for the work that they've put into this. The amount of work that they've put into this sketch plan is very, it's not something that everybody does. So they've brought a sense of professionalism and more information than what we could have ever asked for. And that shows at the very end of the packet for this application. They have all of their resumes as well. So it's a professional team that we've been working with, and we appreciate everything that they've come to the table with up to this point, because it's above and beyond what, in my experience since I've been here, what people have provided at Sketch Plan. So with that being said, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I would welcome the trustees to turn it over to the applicant so that they can give you their full presentation of what they're proposing.
Nice. No.
I'll let them talk first.
Yeah.
I've got some questions.
I have one question. And I don't know if it's for you or them. And I understand this is sketch plan, but has anybody talked to CDOT? Is CDOT requiring a whole lot of
How many months
money
would you like to know?
Extensively.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I guess that answers my question. But yeah, that was my number one thing, because we've had developers in the past, and CDOT's like, no, you got to do all this, and then they leave.
Do you want to put up the?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to it when we get to our
Yeah,
presentation.
that'll be answered within, but yeah, the applicants,
First thing we did.
Jim and myself have sat down with CDOT and had multiple emails about the access control plan and what that looks like within the parcel. But CDOT is well aware of what's going on, and they have not put forward any stringent expectations on this parcel for what's being developed as far as money for an overpass or like they did with Golden Gate, expanding the off-ramp. There's been no conversation about that taking place at all.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any other questions for staff, or we? Okay.
Hear the
Let's
presentation.
turn it over to the applicants then.
Great, thank you. So I think you all know John Kirsten. He's been in front of you multiple times between the church project and the Veterans Housing Project. And John and I have worked on other workforce housing in this, in Silt Rifle area, a couple of which are in the works right now, where my firm provided the financing for a group. That's where John and I somewhat got together, and then the other part is apropos to the wildfire. I serve on the state board of Trout Unlimited, so we've been working. John had as head of the ditch company, 3 different head gates that had to be put in with a government shutdown last winter. It got pretty hairy as we came up to the irrigation season, but we got it all done. So one way or another, I've been involved in Silt for many years, and I won't get into all my bits and pieces. What we recognized, my background is in doing workforce housing. I started doing this in 1973, so I've kind of done it a little while, from Grand Junction to Aspen on the western slope. And our team, who are up here, Jeff Barbles, who's Mustang Commercial, is currently doing the last piece on the roundabout in Newcastle right now, for basically shop space, which you'll see in our plan. EV Studios has a very long background in workforce housing. I went through the project they designed for the town of Breckenridge. In fact, we've got a couple of pictures of that to give you an idea. Skip Hudson, Gray Wolf, I'm sorry, is an expert in commercial design for what we're imagining here, and that they've been very involved. Skip Hudson, who I think may be on, is traffic and CDOT consultant for us, and I'll dive into the CDOT question in a second. And then I expect you know Travis and Anna Kaiser. And Travis called me up some months ago and said, do you have any idea where the pins are in this property? And so we spent probably close to 2 months, not only with him locating all of the pins and reconciling that to what Nicole said, they were substantially off. You can imagine 21 feet off in one location. So we feel all that is reconciled, and that kind of goes to the bigger point that we didn't want to come in with something that we couldn't build. We put a huge amount of upfront expense and time into looking at all the moving parts in here. To the, do you want to go to the first, okay, so location-wise, I think you all know where it is. Camp Colorado on the west, Holiday Inn and the town's remaining parcel for the former water plant to the east. And we can get more into the detail, but one of the really important things I feel about this particular property is obviously its location and proximity to the I-70 exits plus town, and most importantly, being right on the river. So if you go, John, to the next plan. So what we did, and I'm sorry they're all brown, but everything along the north side, so the frontage road, which by the way is owned by CDOT, is commercial. So there are 2 drive-through retail, I guess we'd call them, pads on the west side, and then 2 shop space type, hairdresser, all the things that everybody in town talks about that people would like. Obviously, whether an accountant or someone else, the purpose here is to have space available for businesses No coffee, that's a guarantee. We don't want to upset downtown. And so that's very much a commitment. The challenge is and then if you go to the south, and we'll go back to the residential, what is the Island Park, and Jim clarified with me the other day, the town owns part of it and Camp Colorado owns part of it. So there are actually 3 owners of this island. What our plan entails is connecting the east end of all of this to make it a really viable long-term part of the community. On that note, you'll see it says River Trail. John worked quite a bit with Orrin within the fire district to make sure that that is another fire access point, not only the width between the buildings, but that a truck could come down like a ladder and go down the river trail. So we were very careful about that, working with Nicole. The width of the trail was very important just from public use. You'll notice it turns north up to the frontage road and hopefully would continue along the Camp Colorado property further to the west. If you go back to the east, John, what this is designed to do is it goes south of Holiday Inn Express, which I think was recently bought by a couple, and you all have subdivided that property, so they now can own that piece. They now own that piece, and that trail will continue under 311 to connect Rislendi on one side and give people access to the Silt Town Park on the other. So the idea is to create this whole corridor along the river for vehicular, bike, etc. access. John, if you scroll back up a little bit to the frontage road, going to the CDOT issue, this took a couple of months, and thanks very much to Skip and, to be honest with you, with Jim's finesse. These 2 points you see that are shown in the boxes were the 2 designated points in 1994 initially by CDOT. Now, obviously, we had a lot of discussions with them because we would have liked other access, but they said, no, this has the force of law. There are access points, and that's it. Don't go any further. I know Rislendi has dealt with some of those same issues. So we, in probably close to record time, were able to establish agreements with CDOT on their access points. Skip did a tremendous amount of work, which was submitted in the sketch plan on traffic counts and so on. He's got a very long background in this field. And the net result is we won't have any major impact based on the uses that you see right here in terms of traffic overall in the area. The access point on the east is part of the existing drive that's down to Holiday Inn Express, and then the town, Nicole and Jim are working on, I don't know if we've got it in one of ours, but that will come down between the 2 parcels and connect over to 311, which helps dissipate traffic, keeps people off the frontage road. If somebody were coming in here, stopping to get something, and then headed south on 311, they can do that. If you go back up just a little bit, the west entry was intended to make sure that we have sidewalk, trail, and it does encompass, and Jim's been working on this with Camp Colorado, creating a full width entry into both here, and eventually it ties over to the west into Camp Colorado as eventually they go that direction. The plan you see, I don't know, do you have the color one? Well, anyway, so on what will be coming in, and Nicole mentioned that within the, essentially what we have, we will then move forward with all the civil engineering, provided that we get approval tonight. We're prepared to launch into the civil engineering, in order to be able to come back with our preliminary plan. But we work very, very carefully on this. As you see, lots 1 through 4 are commercial. The access points are very carefully laid out. That's the Central Parkway, what we're calling now the Riverview Parkway, that goes through, that allows circulation. All of the circulation, well, and then you see the green that Nicole referenced, including obviously almost 2 acres of the river. So what we wanted to do is create, I'm repeating myself, but a green belt along the river that's very public, access friendly for everyone. And then if you go to the next one, I can, so this is an elevation looking from the river at the buildings, and I've got some shots I took from Breckenridge the other day. The purpose behind this was to create housing that people can afford to live in an incredible location along the river that allows us to phase it. And Jim, John, if you go a little further, I'm just going to show the site plan. Keep
Go
going.
back to this one.
Yeah, or the color, either one, that's fine. But where it says Riverview Parkway, can you blow that up a little bit? One of the things that we wanted to make sure we could do is along there's actually another colored one, but that's okay. Those are all covered parking along the parkway on the residential side. Get back to it somewhere.
That's why
You're losing it?
Yeah, that's the only color one I have.
Okay, that's fine. So the point is that gray you see south of the Riverview Parkway, those are covered parking with storage. The storage units are 5 by 12, so that keeps bikes, canoes, you name it, extra winter tires, whatever, out of the buildings and keeps the site really livable. So we have worked on this, as Nicole said, probably far more than most people would. We've worked out all the turning radii. We've worked out the width between the buildings to meet all of Oran's needs for the fire district. And actually have spillover parking, which probably won't show up here, in the commercial areas. We met all the code requirements plus some additional parking so that there's spillover available.
No, you want,
What?
you want this one.
Do you have, that's okay.
Yep.
Do you have pictures of the, yeah, that was
Here's
the
the
one.
parking.
That's easier. You can
There
see
you
that brown is you're going the wrong way. There we go. The brown is covered parking where the storage is that brown part. It's also designed so we can create a real parkway. And so our architectural teams, both our residential and commercial work, we work for months to get this right, to make sure we've got everything corrected. All right, all that's in your packet. So can you go to the elevation?
The parking's a big one.
Yeah, yeah. And so we met the parking,
So
and can you
we're
go to?
actually over parked. All the pink spaces are overflow parking for residential if needed.
Yeah. And we've accounted for snow removal and everything else. Okay, can you go to a few of the elevations?
Yep.
He's the operator here. You can see. So this is a fairly good sample of what, though obviously the coloring where it says tenant may change a little bit, of what the shop space would look like. Okay, and that's a good example of what it would feel like. And then, John, did you save? These I'm not wild about, no offense to the architects, but yeah. So I took these pictures a few days ago on Breckenridge, and this is the general feel, some stone exterior, differences in colors. As I said, this is in Breckenridge and was built for the employees in Breckenridge by the town. Those are deck spaces that you see, and we could get into the unit designs. But the basic purpose is to make it very livable, place people want to live long-term. And here for questions, I guess. Do you have anything else? Just the, if you want to see the floor plans, it's fine. Even the actual building layouts have been carefully worked on so that, for example, the one-bedrooms have more than ample windows, et cetera. So here to answer questions.
I got two.
Yes, sir.
So where is all your snow removal storage going to be?
You got it.
Let me
John?
show you. We
That's
did a
John.
plan for it. So the light blue snow storage.
Yeah.
So at the ends of all the parking lots, essentially.
I guess my only concern would be with snow removal storage there is our water plant's downstream, and you're going to put snow where it's going to melt and run into the river. I'm just putting my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Water, you're going to have salt, you're going to have vehicles that are going to drip oil and gas, and all that snow is going to melt and run into the river. That's my only concern. Think about it, our water supply is downstream, and that's going to be pushed, and where it melts, it's going to run right into the river.
Well, we can't.
I mean, that's just
Yeah,
my
no,
thought.
I
That's-
agree, but that's part of the civil engineering. We've been talking to everybody. We're developing systems to treat all the water before it ever gets to the river.
We have state stormwater requirements that we'll have to meet with the engineering design.
Are these going to be owned or rented?
All rental. And John, do you want to reference what's going on in Rifle and the projects?
So I'm actually a partner with Eco Dwelling, which is the free market affordable housing. We've got 63 units under construction now and another 50 in approval and parachute. We are at 34% of AMI, which is far more competitive than anybody in the valley is building. Of the first 12 units that we listed, we had 8 potential purchasers in the first month. 2 of them could pre-qualify. We can't get, with interest rates, the wage structure, the debt in this valley, we can't get buyers into these units. They can rent. There's still a demand for housing, but getting buyers pre-qualified is a challenge right now.
And this came out of a very recent study that shows that Garfield County, more than half the people in Garfield County are rent burdened. So we're doing everything. Obviously, we've got to make it economically work, but these buildings are very efficient, high quality, high levels of insulation, et cetera. And we recognize this is a huge issue right here, as it is, particularly on the western slope. Yes, please, go ahead. I can talk all night on this. We want to go to, what do you got?
Uh-oh. Didn't like something.
Operator here.
Didn't like that slide. There was
It's
no
not.
thing for some reason.
Yes. What else?
But I'm happy to wait if somebody else wants to go.
Fire off?
Go ahead.
So disclosure, I attended the planning and zoning meeting.
Yes.
That you presented at. I was just against the back wall, just as a citizen. I also want to commend you for all of the work you've already done getting to this stage. I think it sets a high watermark for other developers. Hopefully they follow accordingly. I want to start with the things that I really like about this plan, and then some things that I have concerns about. And a little bit of it is cart before the horse, but knowing that you're going to be working on it, I just want to get it out
Yes, sir.
in front of you now. I like the riverfront trails, of course, and public access. I know it came up in the planning and zoning meeting, but public access should include some form of public parking.
Yep.
Or it's going to be a public park that's very difficult to access.
Yep.
So I'd like to see maybe something on that south, maybe shift some of those resident parking spots where you have that overflow up on the northern side and give us at least 3 or 4 down on that southern point. Again, to have true public access is going to need to include parking. I'm grateful about the bridge in the Island Park, that waterfront we've discussed it many, many times. It's a precious and limited resource, so we appreciate your willingness to grant us the park and to build the bridge. I'm a huge fan of the modular construction model, and having done a little bit of research and review on what you guys have done in other places, it's just demonstrably a better product as well as a better process, so happy about that. I don't have any major concerns with the density, given that it's right next to the highway. I share, I think, a lot of other concerns that CDOT doesn't seem to have a plan for this. And sooner or later, they're going to have to, hopefully it's before all of these people move in. So I'll move on to some of the concerns that I have.
Yes, sir.
Again, this is just putting it out in front of you now. I talked about dedicated public parking. I share the concern about all rentals and no owners. And I've been doing some research on this, and there are downstream economic as well as quality of life impacts. One of the major ones is on the local school systems, because renters are around less, so there's more turnover in the schools, and it makes it harder and more expensive for the schools to run. So that's one downstream impact. But it's important for us to consider. I understand there are economic limitations to what you can do. I need to do some more research on other economic models that can help drive more ownership. I also, two more things briefly. I'm concerned about the timing of the residential versus the commercial builds. We've had a number of other developers who've come up in front of us and said we're going to build residential and commercial. It turns out they want to build residential first, and then commercial is someday maybe. And what that may result in is commercial never, because economics change over that time. They build the residential now, get the people in them, and then in 10 years, there's no commercial to speak of. Last thing, and it was referenced earlier as well, the word affordable appears 6 different times in your presentation, but there's no definition. And you gave some stats about 34% of AMI. I think it will be helpful for the board to know.
That's in Rifle, that wouldn't be here.
Okay.
It's far too expensive to build.
It will be helpful for
Yep.
me and perhaps for us collectively to know what affordable is actually going to mean in this development. Like put some numbers to the terminology. Again, the terminology is here and it's a buzzword now, if we can be honest. But what does it mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to need to see what does affordable mean for the future residents of Silt in this development.
Yep.
That's it for me.
I would agree. I think that it's a selling point. I don't know that it's something that we have to enforce on people, right? I mean,
But it would be helpful to know
Yes.
as a context to, hey, we want to build 198 units, and are they all going to be rentals, and this is what affordability means. I certainly don't want to put
Right.
my finger on the scale, such as it is, but I also want to be able to understand the consequences of the decision as it relates to people being able to move here and not be overly rent burdened. Or does it shift the opportunity to have a partial ownership model, and what does that look like?
Right.
And really work with the developers to come up with a model that works for them, that makes them successful, but also gives us members of the community for longer than one lease period. That's my concern, is we're going to become more and more of a transient community, because that's what rentals do.
well, and I think we want the right bouquet of options, right?
Absolutely,
So,
it needs to be a mix.
so I just no, and I
And again, this is just informational,
Uh-huh.
me putting it out there for you guys as part of your diligence, which you've already done a great deal of, so you're ahead of the
I
curve.
mean, there'd be market rate units, obviously, but remember, rooftops drive commercial. So when people want to build rooftops first, that's just by necessity. That's how the economics work, is we get enough rooftops and residential units, then the demand for the commercial rises, and then you can build the commercial.
Right,
That's-
so what percentage of 198 gets two of the commercial spaces built, and what's the time frame? That's
So-
sort of my strategic thinking about it.
If we had a crystal ball.
Well, wait a minute. Because we're teamed up with the folks that are doing the project in Newcastle, which is all shop space commercial, and I think they have 1 or 2 pads. There are people that want to come here that are commercial, retail, whatever. There's very limited amount left in Newcastle, and I hate to do the downwater thing, but, you can look at Eagle Valley, Roaring Fork Valley, you get to Glenwood, and then where do you go? And Newcastle is, well, we all know, we see it all the way to Parachute, and a lot of people go to Grand Junction, who work in these upper valleys. So we have quite strong conviction that the commercial will be very much in demand. That's not speculative. That's based on discussions going on in Newcastle and their inability to bring more. They don't have enough space to meet the needs of folks or companies or whatever that are looking to be in this corridor from Rifle to Glenwood. And if you analyze it, there are very few spots left along the I-70 corridor in the immediate visual aspect of I-70. So,
and this dovetails into some of the other initiatives we're working on with economic development, with the pedestrian bridge, when we can say, hey, there are this many, not just residential, but commercial unit. There's going to be a downflow of foot traffic going south, not just up to Main Street, but also potentially to the south side of I-70. It's not just your development, it's how that puzzle piece fits into the larger puzzle.
Right.
Economic development, quality of life, getting the pedestrian bridge, getting CDOT on the ball to start planning these many residents and how they're going to get to and from work. Again, just throwing these things out there as kind of homework assignments, if you will, so that when you come up, it won't feel like an ambush, like, hey, why didn't you tell me that 3 months ago?
Yeah, if you don't have a car, you have no way to get to this side of the so that's just an FYI.
Yeah, and knowing that you guys even have a generalized strategy about, hey, this is based on current economic models, this is when we're thinking commercial can happen relative to, hey, we need to get residential in to pay the bills to build commercial. Okay, I get that. But let's at least come up with a ballpark of when we can see those commercial units in place so that we can take them to see them.
Our intention is to move forward jointly with both.
Concurrent, okay.
Concurrent. That's our intention. Obviously, as you said, economics can play a role, but I feel that we have potential of users along that space, particularly in lots 1, 2, and 3.
And that's great to hear.
Yeah. I mean, we've worked a lot with Nicole and Jim, and who are the other users? It'd be great to have a hardware store. We tried everybody. They said, you don't have enough beds. You develop the beds, we'll produce it. We'll be there. We've done the same thing with, anyway, yeah.
Are you guys looking at some kind of a pairing between a commercial entity, a pairing of a commercial unit and then a residential unit to go with it?
We're seeing, well.
Like a mixed use? No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, not directly above or below one another, but hey, south 150 feet, we've got 100+ units that.
Well, that's the attraction for the commercial tenants is they want the beds so they can have employees, right?
Right.
Plus they need, customers, so rooftops as customers.
Okay.
Is there any EV charging stations over there? Are you gonna have any?
And that, we haven't gotten into our civil guys. They're probably.
Just curious, I'm just curious, I didn't. For like overflow or visiting or whatever, or even people that live there and they're.
I could probably pull some of our people in. Frankly, the next big step is civil, and that is expensive and very time-consuming to make sure they can do everything. And believe me, we've been trying to prep ourselves, hopefully with approval tonight, to be able to pull the trigger and get going with them. But that's absolutely part of what we would like to see.
That would come in for a site-specific design when we get down to the individual units.
I'm just putting it out there, things I'm thinking of that I don't see, so.
Yep.
So if you don't mention it, and all of a sudden kind of gets slipped through the. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Sure. The picture, I was the assistant chief of BREC for 6.5 years until a couple of months ago. The picture you showed, is that the one by the Justice Center? Or is that the one north of town?
It's on the west side. What's the address?
Park
What do they call it? I can't even remember. I met the quorum is managing it. It's,
Okay, it's the one
that's
that
the
is-
back road that goes back around. So the roads, yeah,
Goes
yeah.
north
I don't
and
know
south.
Breckenridge very well, so.
Park Avenue.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it runs around the back. So there's another project the town did across the street, and this is the recent one here.
Okay.
Rob, are you
That-
on?
The one issue, they did something similar by the Justice Center. Police-wise, had no problems. So I don't know if it's this complex or the other one across the street that they put together, because I know Quorum was part of it, was the amount of units to the amount of vehicle space was it's a huge issue right now. So just to have that in mind of having proper proportion, because it becomes, everybody was like, no, that's their responsibility. No, it's the town's responsibility. And it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, when you go to the parking plan here.
Yeah, I was trying to read that real quick. And
Yeah,
it looks like-
John blew it up, but we worked a huge amount on parking to make sure we had not only units per the requirements, but some overflow.
I feel like Breckenridge is way ahead of us in growth, and their parking is out of control.
Well, it was specifically developed that the spaces, the people will be gone during the day, and then people will come in. People were parking on the grass and destroying
I didn't see that at
the
this
landscape
project
and
at
stuff
all.
like
Crazy.
that. Because they made more units and then used, well, you can park next to the FERC lot and you can use this space, and everybody was like, no, that's our space. And it just something to keep in mind in the initial stages that have.
Parking's, so the CMO conference was there that I just
Yeah.
went to. I think I paid almost $50 for parking for the 2 days. And then I still had to hike all over the place, up and you know what I mean, to go to lunch or anything, just to not lose that spot, because you can, still, I mean, it's insane. So I think we have really expansive parking requirements in Silt because we're afraid of turning it into a situation like that.
Yeah, and that's why we, as you can see, we've developed extra parking. We've planned for extra parking within the complex, as we did on planning for covered parking and storage that don't end up in the buildings and tearing the buildings up, which is one thing I observed in Breckenridge.
Was what? The lack of?
walls. I watch guys going in with skis, obviously it's a little different up there, and other guys going in with bikes and just banging up the walls. So we really want to keep this right, and that's why. Do you have did you save a picture of the parking structures with the
I don't have
you
it on
didn't
there.
put it in there?
I don't think so.
If I can interject, Gwen answered the question
Gwen.
about it's at 52 Rankin, and it's called the Lakespur Apartments next to the Justice Center.
Okay, that is next, and we haven't had, police-wise, or the sheriff department has part of that, haven't had any issues with that.
Thanks.
Parking.
Yeah. So, and as I said, a lot of what we've done here goes, as Nicole said, far beyond what you'd normally do at sketch plan. But I did not want to come in with something that we said we couldn't build. We can build what you see. Economically, I believe, and for the needs of the community in timeframes that make sense.
So-
I'm at a time in my life I'm not out here speculating.
What construction is the commercial buildings gonna be out of? They're gonna be the same material, or are they gonna be?
It's typically, they're steel with, Jeff, are you on? I guess he may not. Go back to the
Typically
picture.
steel frame with red.
Steel, that's what I'm asking, they're steel buildings with,
Yeah.
what, you'll design
Unless
the,
the specific
see the
tenant
outside or
wants
whatever, yeah,
something, you know,
okay.
like a
Like
CMU.
most commercial areas,
You might want a
okay.
CMU building with.
Kinda like
red
Big O
irons.
Tire or something
Yeah.
like that, okay.
That would be CMU with red iron superstructure,
Okay,
but yeah.
that's what I'm
Like cage
asking.
framing, yeah.
Jeff is on if you'd like me to unmute him.
It's up to you. Jeff?
Yeah, let's go ahead and unmute him and just see.
I can't get him.
Hello.
Hey.
There you are.
So it's tilt wall.
Still wall?
Tilt wall.
Tilt wall construction.
Oh, yeah.
Concrete.
And patios on either side. We've got a lot of interest from restaurants. Lindora, which is
Show that building. The
sort of a health food, the wellness type center. We've got Popeyes, Jersey Mike's, a lot of interest on the retail. Since I'm not muted, I wanted to just tell everybody that we're definitely planning on moving forward quickly with the commercial, and it's dependent on the residential. The retailers need places for the employees, of course, and they also need the rooftops for customers. But yeah, we've got feelers out, and there's a lot of interest, so we're definitely planning on moving forward immediately.
Yep. Who else do we have on there? I didn't see the list. Yeah, what else can we answer for
Jeffrey,
you?
Gwen, Ian,
Yep.
Gustavo, Skip.
So I mentioned a lot of our team, and there they are. Other questions, please?
I don't have anything else at this time.
Yeah, as far as sketch plan goes, I don't have any real
No
questions.
comments other than the questions we've had?
I mean, the ones I always have is traffic. I was surprised that CDOT's not making you guys do anything. Parking, I like that. For one, you met the requirements that we have for our town code and went above that. And I want to see in the future plan a way. I don't want the commercial to become overflow parking for the residential, because that just ruins the whole area goes down, especially when you, like Breck does, we assume that this person's going to leave and go to work, so now we have a parking spot we can count as a commercial spot.
No.
And what happens is that person
it's
gets
the
on a bus
opposite of that.
and it becomes a mess. So parking, I like that you've addressed that. The resumes were the cherry on top for the presentation. It gave us, at least me, the ability to see who is putting this together. I assume there's some private equity financing this on the back end that's going to own the project at the end. It'd be great if someone local had the money to put up a project like this. I think they have more bought in than just the cash flow at the end of the month. But I understand
Well,
that.
we all live other than the architects, we all live on the western slope.
So
I used to.
yeah.
All right.
The trail to the frontage road, so from on the west end, from the southwest corner up to the northwest corner, on the plan it looks like it actually jogs onto Camp Kiowa's property. So I'd want to make sure that we have the agreement that yes, that trail's getting built and
Right, Jim?
it's okay to be on that piece of property.
That's Jim's department.
That's Jim's department. He's trying to hide his smile.
No
but he's
trespassing sign in the
he's
middle of
been
the
working-
trail.
Yeah,
He's
so.
been working hard on that. Believe me, we talked about that from the beginning. Yes, sir.
And then, it's already been mentioned, it was mentioned housing people can afford, that affordable's in the packet. My view is affordable is what the market will carry. I mean, if you can rent these units for $3,000 a month, then the market says it's worth $3,000 a month, and it shouldn't be dictated by me telling an investor what the return on investment should be. So,
Thank you.
whatever affordable is to the investors is, in my opinion, up to them. They're the one putting the money out there to make the project happen. I do want to make sure we do have public parking access for the trails and river. That's important. Other than that, I like building concept designs. Look nice. I like that they're not peaked roofs sitting down by the river to block everyone else's view. The structures could be another 10 feet taller if they had a peaked roof on it and block more of the view. So I think some thoughts went into that. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it moves forward to.
Future steps, yeah.
Yeah. I know this is the first big step, and then it's many more steps after that. So.
And I would say, just a heads up, like I did say, we have had some significant outcries from the people on that side of the highway, especially more on the west end, because there's that 16th Street tunnel over here. But pedestrians feel like they're stranded over there. So just you're putting in a development on the south side, you just might be something you want to know that I guess the bus doesn't go over there. And so, just that might be something that benefits the development and benefits people mutually.
And we're working on those things.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It was just something to put on your radar while we're still in the sketch phase. Not a question or anything. I also appreciate the resumes. I thought that was great. No questions now.
Okay. Anything else by the board? Because this is a public hearing, so.
Nope.
Okay. Anything else from the applicant before I open the public hearing?
No, please.
Okay. The time is 8:51 PM, and I'll open up the public hearing in regards to resolution number 48, series 2025. Persons desiring to make a public comment on this agenda item, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program. Or Sheila, any phone calls or emails in regards to this agenda item?
No, sir, I did not hear from anyone.
Okay.
I do not show any raised hands, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And then we'll come back to the chambers here and see if our public would like to speak to this agenda item. Okay. Can we have one of you guys move so we can have,
And you
Or-
can come over here too.
just so we can have,
You want to do public comment over here?
yeah, that'll be fine. We can get you on camera still if you'd like to.
I don't have anything.
Oh, you don't have anything? Oh, I thought you nodded your
You
head.
nodded like
so-
you were gonna come up and say something, Mike.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of things I'd like to say, but not tonight.
Not
Okay.
okay. All right. So we have no public comment in the chambers with us either. So the time is 8:51 PM, and I'll close the public hearing and open it up to further discussion by the board or a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to recommend approval of the Riverview Sketch Plan and Resolution 48, Series 2025, with the conditions listed in the staff report and spoken during this meeting.
I'll second.
All right. I'm going to give that one to Britton all over here, but we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem to approve resolution number 48, Series 2025, with the conditions stated in the applicant, or in the application, along with stated during the meeting. And that was seconded by Trustee Brittenell. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We look
you. Look forward to
look
working with you.
forward to working with everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys being here in person.
Yes, that too.
I'll live 2 more.
John had a long commute.
Long commute, yeah.
Actually, he went to Meeker this morning,
So we're
so.
actually doing the emergency watershed protection work. We have 3 crews up there working 24/7 post-fire that she was talking about earlier. So we're actually doing that. And we're also Alpine Waste, which we donate to all of your functions here in town.
There you go.
For a cheap
Thanks.
For a cheap plug.
Cheap plug. He
Well,
plugs
yeah,
me with Alpine Waste all the time,
It's
so.
community stuff. That's good.
right.
That's good
That's
stuff.
it. We gotta keep it in the community. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Thanks,
Thank
Jim.
All right, trying to scroll down to the next section. Come on. Okay.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
Next item on the agenda is the second reading of ordinance number 13, series 2025, an ordinance of the town of Silt, Colorado, creating chapter 2.17, the Silt Urban Renewal Authority, establishing its powers, duties, governance, and procedures for urban renewal projects in compliance with Colorado Revised Statute and House Bill 15-1348 in the town of Silt, Garfield County, Colorado. Now we'll turn this over to Director Centeno.
It does say my name on the agenda.
It does.
Manager Mann was the lead on this. But unless he has anything to add, he's laughing. Unless he has anything to add, this is the second reading and there's been no changes and we're happy to.
There were changes.
You might have. Oh, there were changes.
There were changes.
Okay,
If
then
you
maybe
look
we
at
can
section
read this.
2.17030, we clarified the terms of all the members that would serve on the Urban Renewal Authority based upon the feedback from the Board of Trustees at the first reading.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I don't have anything.
Nope.
Those changes make sense.
Okay. All right, this is another public hearing. So the time is 8:55 PM, and I'll open up the public hearing in regards to the second reading of ordinance number 13, series 2025. Persons desiring to make a public comment on this agenda item, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program, or any phone calls or emails in regards to this agenda item.
No, sir.
No raised hands, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. Would the member of the public like to speak to this agenda item?
No.
All right. Okay. Then the time is 8:55 PM, and I'll close the public hearing and open it up to further discussion by the board or motion.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 13, series 2025 is presented.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Seifert to approve the second reading of ordinance number 13, series 2025 as presented. And that was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hanrahan. All's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up is manager and staff reports.
The only additional item I will talk about this evening is that if you are driving in Glenwood Springs, be prepared where they have placed the traffic cameras that you might be cited in the event that you are speeding. The traffic cameras went live about a month ago. There was a period of 30 days where they issued warnings only, and now you can be cited. In the first 3 weeks of the program, the 4 cameras recorded 29,000 incidences of people speeding through the community.
Yeah.
One of them was clocked at 101.
Oh my God. Like on over by the Meadows?
No, that's probably the one out by, coming in
No,
to
it's
Glenwood
the one
from
in South
Carbondale.
Midland. Is the one where they got the high speeder.
Where?
Okay.
Where was
South
it?
Midland.
I'm like, there's a school
Going
on
up-
this road,
Going towards
people.
Sunlight. There's a camera out
Camera
that
out,
way.
out that way too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, that's, wow. What's speed limit there, like 25,
Insane.
35?
25.
25?
Yeah.
25.
Ouch.
Good Lord.
That's hard to do.
Just a second. We don't.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry.
Not public comment time, yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
If you'd like to ask Chief a question after the meeting, he may be willing to answer that for you. Okay. All right.
That's the only additional item I will give.
Okay.
But I have a question for Jim.
You have a question?
Yes, on the development update. Resindley. Yes. Your comment there. So does that mean they don't want to do what we wanted them to do at the last approval?
We are not entirely sure what they are going to be planning. We did receive contact with them that they requested a meeting, of which I believe we have it scheduled for Monday afternoon. But they approached Attorney Sawyer to inquire about what they would need to do to proceed with the development under the existing ARADA and PUD agreement.
Can you remind us what were some of the major differences between the approved PUD and the one town staff was working with them on currently?
Primarily.
It was primarily residential density of the project. What triggered re-looking at an awful lot of the PUD guide was the fact that they had asked for a 50% increase in density, going from about 160 residential units to 247. So that was the catalyst, and then that opened the door for us to request additional items, including the dedication of Parkland based upon the higher density. Then the underpass was added. But we have been working with Attorney Sawyer to understand the old agreements, what they meant and what they were dictatorial on, and just so that when we get to the meeting on Monday, we have a clear understanding of what the guardrails were or the parameters were of the PUD guide that was adopted previously. And just as an example, Lot 1 is the only multifamily lot or tract 1. Tracks 2, 3, and 4 require a mix of uses. It doesn't necessarily dictate that you have to do first floor commercial, second, third floor residential, but the way the guide is written is that the development has to be balanced on the tract. And there's a minor definition of what that balance would look like, but that will be impactful. Another piece that was included was on Lot 1. It included 72 units, of which 50 of the units were supposed to be sub-market rate housing, which that would go a long way to improving our housing situation in the area. I think the bottom line is, until we really understand what they're proposing, it's hard to react. So that's why my statement was a little bit couched in there in terms of trying to figure out what it is we're going to be looking at.
I feel like there was also a requested reduction in commercial space in the revisions to the PUD that they were working on. So if they go back to the prior, we would be back up to that prior number.
Correct, yeah. They wanted tract 1, 2, and 4 to be only residential, and then tract 3 would have the commercial element.
But the total was also reduced, was it not? Between the, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll know when you guys and Attorney Sawyer have a chance to go over it in detail.
Good luck with that meeting.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think, there's probably some positives to utilizing the existing approvals versus what was being negotiated. And one of the key would be that I think it will require additional commercial.
Yeah, I do recall that as being a fairly central part, was they wanted to reduce the overall commercial square footage. Yeah, I guess I would caution town staff to make sure we're clear on compliance. If we're going back to a prior agreement, it's going to be imperative that both sides know exactly what that means and how it's going to be enforced.
Understood.
Can I, as one board member, get a copy of the original from 2022 emailed to me? Just because we've talked about it for 3 more years that I can't say that I'm...
I was literally looking through my files to try and find it, and I couldn't find it. Can I get does everybody just want a copy? Can you just email us a copy of
When
it?
it's time to talk about it, I want a copy of it.
It'll certainly help us, yeah.
I don't want
Yeah,
it
we just
today.
consolidated all of the existing approvals, and we can definitely email a copy out to
Yeah, and I found bits and pieces and comments and notes from meetings, but I couldn't find a single document, so that would be helpful.
Yes, we consolidated packets, minutes, and applications, and then recorded agreements.
Brilliant.
Okay. Just because it's such a big swing, I'd like to start reading about it now, so when we get there, it can be fresh.
Less homework then.
Than Thursday to Monday. Okay.
I have a quick comment about the water treatment plan in the opening. We're going to invite Dola to that.
Yes.
Okay. Dana, specifically, if he can make it. I know he was instrumental in getting those approvals from the executive committee, so I want to make sure that we acknowledge that. That was the only other name.
As we draw into that, we'll circulate the list so that if we miss somebody else's eyes might pick up who it is that we need to add to the list for the ribbon cutting.
I was also going to add local media. It's a great event for the town, and we should celebrate it as far and as wide and with as many third parties as we can.
And then they can all get on and off I-70 and see what they need to fix.
Oh, you're here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's invite CDOT.
CDOT over. Shoshana Liu, top of the list. Yeah. Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
Tree lighting tomorrow. Hopefully everybody can make it. I am going to put out on Facebook a timeline so that everybody has an idea of what's going on. We revised our traffic control plan.
I saw the signs on the interstate.
We did partner with CDOT, and they have signs on the interstate. And we're hoping everything goes off without a hitch, and it'll be fun. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Fireworks.
Planning on it.
Yes, fireworks. Hopefully I can get off work in time.
Fireworks, yeah.
You have to show those fireworks.
I know.
Come on now.
I love fireworks. So.
You might not get them for 4th of July, so.
Yeah. Can we also reach out to Facebook, to Roaring Fork Road and Weather Group? Because there seem to be a ton of people that follow that to also post on there.
Post about the traffic thing.
About the
That's a good
traffic.
idea.
That's a great call.
What is it called?
Roaring Fork Road.
Roaring
and-
Fork Road and Weather, and the guy who runs it, his name is Ray Alexander. He's the
Oh,
admin.
I know Ray.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
I think
runs
everybody
it.
knows
I
Ray
don't know when he
in
sleeps.
some way,
He
shape, or
just
form.
runs that all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time, it seems like.
Plus his job.
Yeah.
So.
But I know a ton of people are on there, so.
It'd be good to
Great
get that
idea.
updates.
Yeah.
Any updates that everybody, yeah, that's a great,
Yep.
yeah.
Chief, do you have anything you'd like to?
I do not.
You do not? Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. All right. Updates from board and board comments.
I made my budget comments. So then the only other thing was, yeah, the Colorado Water Conservation Board meeting, November 19th. We did have a representative from this coalition come and talk to us one time. I don't remember the date of that board meeting. It was a few months ago, but it's a $99 million purchase where all of the stakeholders on the West Slope have joined forces to buy our water rights back from the utility company. So the amount of money obviously is insane. And then, it was a lot of lawyers and policy. It just, everybody had to come to the table and really figure out how to make this work. And so the transaction was approved by the water board. And then I guess it has to make it through water court. But this is like a huge, massive step. When you talk about legacy, like this is something that for generations to come, that we're having this huge impact. I can't even express what a big deal it is. So I was very excited to hear the board, they approved it unanimously. They forced the opposing parties to just sit back down and keep hashing things out until they basically came to an agreement, which is going to save a lot of litigation and stuff. So that was incredible. And then there was a standing ovation. It was people just like, it was a huge deal, I think, for our state. One of the most important things we can do to make sure that, we're going to be safe in times of drought and things like that. Obviously, we know water is really important. So I did watch it. I listened to the whole thing because it was a big deal to me. So I thought I might get to go talk, which it would have been like, everybody knows how important water is to us. So I don't know that I would have been saying anything that profound. I just would have been really excited to be a part of it. But I ended up just watching, and it was cool. So, so then that leads me to maybe on our website we could have a page that's like links to, like Derek says, we-problems. Like, it's not directly a town of Silt issue, but other, jurisdictions and things like that where because we have a lot of partnerships and things since we're kind of small. So just a thought.
Maybe on the new website.
On the new one.
Right.
There will be space.
Yeah.
We don't need to bother with this old one. We just put new.
Okay, Trustee Britnell?
Just looking forward to hopefully getting off work time tomorrow to give them the tree lighting stuff. Reminder for people, as Mayor Reichel commented, I think it was the last meeting before, about SUVs and stuff and riding them through town. Be responsible, be smart, and also maybe educate your children if they're riding them at all. There was a kid that rode, I was up by the horseshoe pits today. There's a kid that came flying up through there on a four-wheeler, not even a side-by-side, but just a four-wheeler. Had a helmet on at least, but he was doing donuts, spinning out, shooting gravel at people and vehicles. And the speeds he was going down the roads, even if he didn't get hit by a car, if you were to roll that thing or overcorrect or something, it could be horrible. And so, as we've said, most of us supported using those vehicles in town when appropriate. Don't be the one that ruins it for everybody. Because it would take one accident and we'll just shut it down completely. Because safety is the important part.
You right? That wasn't mine.
That's it.
Trustee Clausen?
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. Did anything ever get resolved with the Domelby Park?
I had a meeting with our attorneys last week, and they are still in communication with their attorneys.
Oh, okay.
So nothing's resolved yet, but it's still being communicated about.
Okay, gotcha. And then I think, at some of these meetings we discussed, anytime the town does a project like in the street or something like 8th Street or Grand, or we would put conduits in the ground. Have we been doing that? For broadband or power or whatever, just conduits for the future.
As far as I know, there have been conduits put in. And we had talked about putting conduits on both sides when we were talking about the Grand Avenue project, the north and south side, and we're even doing the same conduits in the redesign of Community Park.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely on the top of
good. I
everybody's
was just
radar.
curious.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's been so long since we've talked about Camarillo, but granted, the part that the town owns, obviously the lower part, soccer field, but the upper part, did we ever make a decision on if those would be town or if they would be sold for lots? And I guess my question is, is there any infrastructure to those lots if we decided to go that route?
The last direction that we got from the board was that the two lots above the extension of Orchard Avenue were going to be subdivided and gifted over to the developer. And then everything south of Orchard is going to remain in the ownership of the town.
All right, it's just been so long.
And there is infrastructure. The only thing that they don't have, because the infrastructure is in the in Orchard, the only thing that they don't have pulled directly to those two additional lots is electric, but there is a transformer that was put on an adjacent lot.
Oh, okay.
That will get power to both of those as soon as they're ready.
Okay, so we don't have to tear up brand new
Those
land
aren't,
or nothing.
yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's. Oh yeah, I did have one other question, and yeah, Public Works Director Lundin isn't here, but all the rest of the asphalt that from there, it's sitting behind the baseball field. Is there a reason why it's up there?
The asphalt is?
Yes. There's big piles of asphalt behind, where you guys added all the vendor parking, on the south side. There's just big piles of asphalt there.
On the road leading up to it?
Not on the road leading up to it, but up on top, where that flat area is. Where you guys, the new area that you guys added, all that rotomill, for parking for the vendors.
So I know that the dirt that is on the road leading up to it is going to eventually go back into Community Park and compacted so that we can meet the drainage requirements. I know that at one point, Director Lundin had a conversation about, there's a machine that Frontier Paving uses that grinds up the asphalt and creates, like rotomill.
Oh, okay,
And so I
okay.
know there was discussion about cleaning up that road a little bit more. That could be where they decided to put it, and then next year they'll bring the equipment and crush it and rotomill more of that. Don't quote me on that, but that's the conversation that was
that makes sense. I was just curious because it's like, well, I don't necessarily want us to pretty up one part of town just to put basically the trash in another part.
Yeah,
of town.
I think it's intentional. I think that
Okay.
there's going to be something done with it that's going to help improve that trail system behind where that parking
Oh,
was
okay.
installed.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's everything I had.
I got nothing.
Mayor Pro Tem?
A couple of things. Thanks in advance to town staff for the event tomorrow night. You know, we electeds, we show up for a few hours and shake babies and kiss hands, and it's a grand old time. But I've seen Public Works out there doing the work at the roundabout. Obviously, Nicole and her team have been deeply involved in scheduling. Chief Gress and his team are going to be, you know, providing safety and support and fun and festivities throughout the event. So just want to make sure we acknowledge all the work that goes into that so that we can show up and look important. The only other thing was a request. Chief Gress, a citizen, just gave us some specific addresses and issues, hoping that you can deploy some resources there.
Yep.
Just to incentivize a change in behavior. I don't know how we do it. I just request that we do something.
That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's it for me.
I was going to say thank you to the citizen for coming in and talking about traffic, because I like to talk about traffic too. I don't know why all the poor drivers live in Silt, but they seem to. We just seem to collect them. I don't know if we can't read stop signs, the speed limit sign.
It's
Doing
not
101
Silt.
in Glenwood,
I mean-
apparently.
I'm sure we've got 101 in this town somewhere by somebody at some point in time. So,
Driving through.
again,
That is not a challenge. Please do not.
No,
try to-
yeah, somebody's gonna hear that. And,
our police department does great. I admire everybody that's on that team. We have to remember that while I'm sitting at home on Saturday watching traffic go by, that our officers are on might be doing something else. They literally cannot be everywhere at every time. So I know it can be frustrating when you see those repeat offenders, but I think as long as our citizens have trust in our chief, have those conversations, something can happen. And that's really all we can ask. You have the conversation, make somebody aware of it, and then something can happen about it. So yes. So enough on traffic. Stop the stop signs. And traffic's gonna be a mess tomorrow.
Yep.
but only for a few hours.
But only for a few hours and for a great reason. So
with the traffic too, like if somebody had areas that had concerns, they could text, if they're on the text my gov, they could text into you guys, and you guys could forward those comments to the police department.
Yes.
Is that correct? So that might be a good way for people to get information in.
text my gov, phone call, email, stop in, bring a cup of coffee, multiple ways I think we have of communicating, and one might work better for one citizen than another. So
Isn't there a coffee for a cop coming up?
There is on December 6th at 8 a.m. At the coffee shop there.
The day off for the party that night, so I might be able to go.
And then sooner than that, myself and Officer Portwood are going shopping. We have about 10 names that the school provided us to help them get through Thanksgiving with some meals and stuff like that. So we're going to get those out. And then we do have the coffee with the cop. The coffee with the cop is December 6th. The shop with the cop is December 17th, I think. I'll double check. But that's coming up as well. We got great officers. I've been impressed with soliciting for some donations and stuff like that. Holy Cross just gave a big old check this morning, and I'm like, what do I do with this? Kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a good deal.
very nice.
Nice, yes.
And
Glad
when
to
it
hear
comes to the speed, it's usually a kind of a triple prong approach of some studies. and some directed enforcement. Those are actually kind of fun, because if we all get involved, the behavior starts to change. But understand, I've been law enforcement all over the country. It is not just Silt. It's because humans are humans. So we'll do what we can.
Okay. With that, I think the next item is adjournment.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Motion by trustee Seifert to adjourn the meeting, seconded by trustee Clausen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.